Welcome everyone to a incredible milestone episode 50 of the Bunker Talk with the one and only, and I'm going to tell you guys the story about this, Karen Ross from Palermo, Landsman and Ross. How are you?
Delightful. How are you? Thank you for having me.
And special guest Beasley, as at the request of our number 50. It's Bees. Also, it's her first podcast, so let's see how she does. Thank you so much for being.
Thank you for having
here.
me.
I'm super excited. So, fun fact. My episode number 1 was with Karen's husband, Michael Ross from Heartland Payroll. You should go back. It's actually top 5 performing.
Top 5 for sure.
Top 5 performing. I really knocked it out of the park with my first one. It's funny because I was so nervous. And I've known Mike for easily 10 years. So we figured, well, let me do episode number 1 with someone that I know, right? Someone that I'm comfortable with. And we had a great time. It was so informative, such a great episode. And he was such a good sport about it. And he's so easy to talk to. So
such a chill vibe.
So chill. And it was awesome. But 50 is going to be better.
I think so. He turns 50 this year. So
there you go.
I own this 50th episode.
I love that. Tell everybody about yourself, Karen, what it is that you do, and we'll start there.
So I am a partner with Palermo, Landsman and Ross. It's a boutique CPA firm in Cooper City. We do have clients in all 50 states and about 20 different countries.
Oh, wow.
That's my profession. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a philanthropist. I'm a thought leader with the Daily Drip. And I just really like to engage and be involved in the community. And I found that I'm more of what I'm doing and less about my business. And I'm just using my business as a platform. So my designation is enrolled agent, which is pretty specific in the world of tax. And it's allowed me to separate myself from the typical CPA world, even though we have exceptional CPAs with our firm. It's allowed me to separate myself and be more distinguished in the area of tax, more specifically.
And so what does, I don't know what an enrolled agent does. So what does that mean?
Great question. Enrolled agent is a federally authorized tax practitioner. So similar to a CPA in that you can practice without any restrictions, the same as a tax attorney. But it's unique in the sense that there's really only about 53,000 active enrolled agents in the United States. And it's a specific focus on tax, IRS legislation, practices and procedures with the Internal Revenue Service, and it really makes me a taxpert. That's what I like to say. I'm a taxpert, whereas CPAs, they know a lot in certain areas. I know everything there is to know about tax and practices and procedures. So if you're like being audited, you have a lien, a levy, that's where I come in with the big guns.
How did you get involved in this? Because no offense to any CPAs or you guys, but I would say I haven't met the third partner, but you and Artie, the personalities, that's not typical in your space.
They're elevated. No,
yeah,
it's
that's not typical. So how did
No.
you end up in that space that's like typically so boring?
It's actually really cool how I ended up in this space. I was working at Outback Steakhouse, waiting tables. I was in college for accounting, and I was ready for a real job. I was getting tired of waiting tables, and I was actually waiting on our staff accountant at the time. And he started asking me a lot of questions and said, you really should interview with our firm if you're really interested in accounting. We're hiring, da 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 da. And then we go round and round, and 3 weeks later, I start working for Arthur Palermo. And over the last 20 years, I've just kind of evolved and grew within the firm. About 14 years ago, I was doing a lot of IRS dispute and almost acting for Artie like a paralegal would for an attorney, preparing everything, giving all the details. And I just started to know more than him. And I started to really run that department and take it into the next level. But I didn't have a designation. I didn't have the authority to do certain things with the IRS. And I said, well, I'm still in school. I had my babies, so I'm like being a mom, going to school, working, doing all the things. So what am I going to do about this? Took my enrolled agent exam, 6 months, passed all 3 parts, and boom.
I love this. I
didn't want to have anyone else that I had to depend on to do my job. I wanted to do it on my own. I wanted to be the authority. And I really wanted to take the firm to the next level within that department because we were handling things, but we weren't like the go-to for IRS dispute. And I really loved it. I really loved giving peace of mind to taxpayers that were frantic, thinking they were going to jail, losing sleep. And I developed a relationship with all of these IRS agents, and I have a great reputation. So it's really helpful for the taxpayer.
I have so many questions to ask you about this. Talk about, because not only is your space, it's funny because I recently was talking to someone and she's in a male dominated space and I'm in a male dominated, and she's like, can we just stop saying that? Like, isn't every space male dominated? Like almost, right?
Not for long. I think we're taking over.
Yes. Yes. And I know that you have a very supportive firm.
I do.
Which is incredible.
It is incredible. I would be nothing without my partners.
I love that.
Yeah.
But can you talk about that? Especially, so it's young and woman in a space that's not typically either.
Correct. Yeah.
How did you navigate it? What were the challenges? What advice could you give to someone that's finding themselves?
Well, my biggest mentors, obviously Artie Palermo. If you know anything about him, you've seen the way he elevates me in public, in private, mentored me, taught me everything he knew. But my husband also, he really mentored me in the space of being confident in my own skin and never saying, well, I'm a woman and I'm young, so I can't. He never, ever let me do that. He always said, you're an authority here. You are amazing at what you do. You just need to own it. And so he really elevated me, and I just surrounded myself with men that elevated women. And I always at the time wanted to be the dumbest person in the room to learn everything. And now over time, it's like, student becomes teacher. And that's really how I came to be such a strong-minded woman in this space. And it's funny because I do attract obviously a lot of female clients, female business owners, divorcees, widows, but I've had so many men that are business owners say, I only work with women. Well, why? Well, because you guys are more detail-oriented. You're more thorough. You guys are tough. I know you're on my team. And so that's really exciting too, to hear that.
Yeah, I do think it's changing. I mean, maybe it's because we're in the Daily Drip. We're surrounded by all the women that are doing the work. So maybe that, it feels like the impact is more palpable. That might be one of the reasons. But even in my space, like there's very minimal women in ownership. It's either customer service, they're the ones taking the payments, doing the applications, things like that. There's not really a lot of women in production either, because production is typically a commission only job, right? That's not very common for women to be in that space. And so I would say that there's more shift even in the owner space before the production space.
For sure. I'd agree with that 1,000%. There's, the CPA world, the tax world, it's not sexy,
Well, yeah,
it's not fun. So, I think just women by nature are, really creative, and they want to do things in arts or be consultants or leaders. And I get that. Accounting can typically be boring. So I think that's just naturally why there's not a lot of women in my industry, but I make it really exciting. There's nothing boring that goes on at Palermo Landsman.
I love that.
Nothing.
You guys are super entertaining. It's true. It's really true. Can you talk to us about the dynamic of being in business with partners? Like what's, and I know that you have a good scenario, but like still, I'm sure there's times where there's disagreements. Like the premise of the podcast is to help anybody that's in business new, that doesn't know what they're doing. They're thinking about it, or maybe they're like ready to give up. I don't want anybody to give up on themselves. So like if I could ask those types of questions to kind of shed some light and give insight on that side of the partnership world. What
I love that
like?
You're doing that. I am very blessed. I have incredible business partners, and I'm tremendously supported. And the vision was family first. And I think that the basis of that that's what has made our partnership so incredible. That's not to say, just like with any family, it doesn't get tumultuous. That's not to say that we don't have rifts here and there. And, anytime you have 3 men and an alpha female, you're bound to have something get a little pear-shaped every now and then. but I like to say I have 4 husbands. 3 of them are my business partners and 1 is I'm married to. But you really are truly married
Poor
to
thing.
each other. Poor them. You know,
I don't know, man.
I don't know if they knew what they were getting themselves into when they brought me on. You know, a female, all the emotions. They're amazing. All joking aside, they're amazing. And they've been so incredible.
Before you continue answering the question, I just want you to know that it's genuinely perceived that way on the outside. It doesn't look like you guys are putting on a show and then behind closed doors it's war. It doesn't look that way. So it's
that's good.
You
that's
can
refreshing.
feel that it's authentic.
Yeah, that's
so
refreshing.
It is that is impressive.
Yeah. Our culture is unique. And that starts with the partner level, whether you have 1 partner, 1 or 2 partners, or 100. Mm-hmm. It's all about the culture, and it starts at the top. And, you know, we are very respectful of each other. You have 4 very different personalities, very different, and 2 tremendous alphas, 2 Leos, by the way. Mm-hmm. That makes it a little rocky. But, you know, I would say to any business owner, male, female, doesn't matter. Anytime you're going into business with a partner, especially if you have a relationship with them before the partnership level, it's really important to see an attorney, get all your agreements done, iron it out on paper, because life changes happen, right. People change, industries change. God forbid there's an accident and there's an exit strategy that has to be in place. So the most important thing is to, number 1, see an attorney, make sure you have all the legalities worked out. And 2, have a vision. Everyone has a different vision in my firm, but we all come together towards the same goal and the same vision. And the third most important thing is we're always bonding. We're going to the golf course. We're going to dinners. We're going to networking and philanthropic functions together. We're all connecting constantly, the 4 of us, because if you don't, it's just like a marriage. It's going to fall apart. You're going to get disconnected.
So it's times of like, we're not talking business. We're just working on our relationships. Right.
Absolutely.
I like that.
One of the things when we golf together is, and we're not all great golfers, which makes it even more fun. You know, we go off site. Sometimes we go to another state, amazing dinners, amazing golf courses, and we don't talk about work. And it's amazing because we are naturally building this camaraderie that shows up in the office when we get back. It's so important.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume, like you said, just like a marriage, I would assume it's very difficult to be in business and in a partnership status with people that you don't respect or like personally. I mean, I
highly do not recommend that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess if the business is doing well enough and there's enough layers in between the people, maybe, but I don't see how that would be.
No.
And even if it worked from a business perspective, like everything is functioning and their money is being made, but do you enjoy it?
Think about parenting. When mommy and daddy aren't getting along, the kids feel it.
The house feels it.
The house feels it. Yes. And no staff member of mine wants to sense a disturbance in the force. Correct. So it's really important to have camaraderie.
How big is your team?
So with we have 4 partners, and then we have just under 30 employees. We're in growth mode, obviously. I feel like, especially since the pandemic, you know, sole practitioners are really going out of business. And business owners really grew, so they needed a more sophisticated CPA firm. But at the same time, some of these larger firms outpriced small business owners, and they had to drop down a level and go to a sophisticated firm that still had the capacity that wasn't a sole practitioner. So we're in growth mode, and we have staff that ranges from administrative support, bookkeepers, payroll specialists. We've got CPAs, tax specialists, an audit department, IRS dispute resolution department, and then obviously your principals.
Can you talk?
And Peter. Peter is in his own league.
That's hilarious. Can you talk about staffing? What's the hardest part of building a team?
Culture for sure. The hardest part about building and maintaining that firm with a family vibe is all about culture. And I've really we divvy up the staffing and hiring. So, I run the admins and that department. I'm the culture bearer of the firm, essentially. So I make sure that I'm not in HR, but I'm the fun fuzzy side of HR.
Right.
So I do all the hiring of the admins. Artie does all the hiring of tax practitioners. Brett handles all the hiring of bookkeeping and whatnot. So we all have our own strengths and gifts that allow us to hire the people that we think are best in that department. And I've learned you can hire anyone with expertise. It doesn't mean they're going to fit the culture. It doesn't mean they're going to fit in. It doesn't mean they're going to be good for your team. I could teach anyone. I could train anything. And if I'm really good at what I do, I'm going to be able to train them and make them the best in that position, but they've got to fit the culture. So we have actually found, ironically, some of the younger people that we've hired, the stigmata is, these millennials or, these, whatever the next generation is they're calling them. They don't want to work. They're lazy. They're da. Not the ones I'm seeing. They want to work. They want to learn. They want to grow. They want to bring in business. They want to elevate themselves. And maybe it's us. Maybe it's because they found a great firm to work for, but I'm seeing tremendous growth and potential in the younger people.
And so what for the businesses that are struggling with attracting the younger people, besides the culture that you guys have, what else do you think what do you think they're looking for?
I think the business owners are looking for loyalty, reliability, and coachability. If I have someone working for me that is not coachable, they're gonna get eliminated really fast. And usually they self-select out, ironically.
Yeah.
We do a lot of team building and a lot of culture building within our firm. And you learn really, really fast who is not part of that. And then they end up leaving. So I think business owners really need to hone in on their culture and what type of person they're looking for, what those gifts are that person possesses and what they need for that position, and hire that first and then hone in on the skills.
Right. I've heard that too. A lot of, you hire for personality, you don't hire for the seat. And that's why you should always be recruiting, because when someone good comes along, you can create a position for them because of their personality traits or, the levels of education, their knowledge, all that stuff. But one of the things that I've always heard from the people that sit in the seat is like recruiting all the time.
All the time.
To be able, you don't want to miss the boat because you're not prepared for like a rock star candidate.
Yep. Agreed. I mean, when we redid our website, the vision of redoing the website had absolutely nothing to do with clientele and nothing to do with referral partners. That's just an added value. It was, this is the firm we are. We want to represent ourselves and we want to attract really great employees. You cannot grow your business without strong employees. I can't work 70 hours a week every single week. I'm a prime example of how culture, mentorship can take you to the next level. I started at the firm as a bookkeeper. And I've been there 20 years.
That's amazing.
And I've been a partner for 10 of the 20. And it's because I was mentored and trained and I had the right personality.
Coachable.
Coachable.
I think that one of the best qualities somebody can have in business or the employee position is that.
In life.
In life, honestly. You don't know everything. You got to learn from people. You got to surround yourself with people. Also the people like you're doing, which I know you do it. I do it in my industry, but I think once you've been helped, you have to turn around and help. Yeah. You have to pay it forward, right? Like mentorship is not something that you keep to yourself. No. You got to share it.
That's so tremendous that you brought up that point. Artie is such a go-giver. Everything he has, he gives. His wife is the same way. They're just loving, giving people by nature, whether it's in business, personal, their families, strangers. They are elevated through giving. And Artie, he's super confident. So when he brought in me and Brett, he had no concerns about, are they going to take my business and run? He says, I'm going to teach them everything I've got. And look at these two loyal kids. Because at the time we were like, in our early 20s, and he created these two loyal professionals. We are his succession plan. So when you pay it forward and you invest in your staff and you invest in the right people and believe in them and show them that you want them to succeed, you pay it forward. I'm doing the same thing with our staff. I'm training them. I'm mentoring them. They're coming to appointments with me. If they have a referral partner that they're having trouble referring business to that referral partner, I'm going to step in and help them. I'm going to teach them how to do it, because that's how our business is going to have longevity and legacy, is through them.
I like that you said that too about the referral partnering and that stuff, because I don't know if this is true. I mean, I have younger staff, but they're not really networking. They don't do that yet. But that concept, I feel like networking is so difficult. And I don't know that the younger generation, I think they know less than
Much
what
less.
we knew coming
Much
into
less.
it. They don't know how to network.
Everything is on social.
Right.
They don't have the soft skills to connect on a personal level without it being on social. And I could say this because this episode won't come out for a while.
Yeah.
I am launching within the firm a brand ambassador program exclusive to certain employees to train them, mentor them, and make them the brand, and to give them the tools. You know, I've gotten the tools from the Daily Drip and the women that have surrounded me. Peter Layton's been tremendously instrumental in that. Well, I want to use my staff and take them to the next level. It's not for everybody. So we're creating this exclusive, we're calling it a brand ambassador program, so that they can take their skills to the next level. And it's not just social media. It's in-person networking and learning how to read the room, how to have a natural conversation with someone. I don't talk about accounting. Nobody's wants to talk about tax, honey.
Nobody's going to talk to you.
When I'm in the room, nobody walks up to me and says, hey, when's the next deadline? Or, hey, what's the most recent tax legislation? Nobody's asking me that.
No, that's the quickest way to be left alone in a room.
Yes. I don't want to talk about it.
It's so true. What is the best piece of advice? I love that you're so passionate about this too, and I love that program. That's so cool. I kind of want to go through it, but
that's a plug for Nicole Mastrangello, because she came to
everything?
me. She's like, Karen, I see that you have certain questions about certain things. She identified a problem in our firm that I couldn't identify myself, and gave me a platform and a direction, and I'm just going with it. I'm next level. Yeah,
my entire life is better because of Nicole.
1,000%.
Nicole is the genius behind everything that all of us are doing.
I mean, what we have going on at the Daily Drip is unbelievable. And I feel like it's infectious.
It's infectious. And I'm going to tell you right now, they couldn't get rid of me if they tried.
Never. I mean, I'm jealous that you're an OG.
I'm not, but I didn't start that much earlier. I started last year. In November of 24, it was a year.
You would never know that.
I used to go to the events.
Okay.
I would go to the events, but I wasn't a member because I met Romy. First of all, I met Romy prior to Nicole, prior to COVID. Same. And so I remember when Romy told me, oh, I met this girl, Nicole, we're working on this platform of like doing this for women. And I was like, cool. Throughout the whole thing, though, like Romy's like, you gotta join. And I was like, I can't join until I can give it my all.
Yeah,
like
same. Oh my gosh, this is why we connect.
This is why it was instant.
I met Romy through my husband, of course. All things start with Michael Ross.
Right.
Don't put that in the thing.
Edit that
out. all good things start with Michael Ross. But he introduced me to Romy, and I'm like listening to what this is all about, and I'm like, okay, I get it. Is this another boss babe? Is this another, which I can't stomach that. Nope. It's just not for me.
Me either.
I am an entrepreneur.
Right.
Am I a woman in business? Yes, but I'm an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And I love the philosophy that they have, and I love the camaraderie that we have. And I feel like, I needed to dedicate 1,000% of myself if I was going to be a thought leader. And all I had to do was experience a couple of incredible synergies with some of the women and experience the result of what I was learning and the result of what I was doing. And I was like, I'm all in. I'm all in.
I agree. And I think that for me, this business journey is so difficult and isolating. And I have a great support system in my industry. I'm very well supported. I'm very well loved. I also support people. Like I have a great industry that supports me, but I didn't, but the women aspect of it, I kind of felt like I was losing my mind, honestly. And I can't pick up the phone and tell all the guys that support me, hey,
No.
crying. Like,
No.
I kind of feel like I'm going crazy.
Well, and I
They
mean,
don't get it.
They don't understand because they don't think like us.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I have some of the most understanding male business partners on the planet Earth. And sometimes they look at me like,
Right.
she's gonna have a mental breakdown.
Right.
I don't know what to do about it.
Right.
And, I have a supportive system at home there, but I needed to be, I remember one day I was like driving to work and I just go on the thought leader chat and I just say, does anybody feel like they're everything to everyone all the time, no mistakes, and you're just ready to scream? And then the flow of responses start happening. There's connection.
Right.
And then you know what? All I needed was that like little daily drip of inspiration, and I'm right back on track.
And I would say that there's, which is what all the referral networking groups, all of these groups, they serve their purpose, right? Like, you're not going to get warm and fuzzies from your B&I group, but they can grow your business. It's not about that. But I do think that one of the sauces of the daily drip is the fact that you could do that in a chat full of other 30 professional women, and it's not held against you because you were having maybe an off day.
Yeah.
I feel like the vulnerability piece is kind of like a weakness in other groups. Like, no, here it's like, hey, Karen's having a bad day.
It's valued. It's recognized.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being honest, because so am I.
There's intrinsic validation there,
Correct.
which I think is key for any business owner.
Correct.
You need to have the ability to intrinsically validate your clients, your partners, your staff. I mean, but look at even just the response from my first article. I mean, I was like, when I write an article, I'm coming out. Like, this is me. I want everybody to see, what am I going to talk about? What is literally controlling every minute of my mental real estate right now? It was my mom. And I came out and I said the things that I said, and the response from everyone was incredible. But the response that I got from the thought leaders and the community members was incredible. I never felt so supported. And I felt like I was able to be someone else's life raft. And then when I came out with the second article, I was like, all right, guys, where are you at? I know you're going through this. Let me help you. So much community.
I think that that's kind of, which obviously is the premise of the Daily Drip, and that's why Nicole's a genius. But even our consumption of content has changed so much as just users of social media, where if you think about your behaviors online and what when you're mindlessly scrolling, we're so disconnected from pop culture.
So true.
It's so
true.
We just want to see other people living their lives and sharing what's real.
Yeah, I want authenticity. I don't want to see on Facebook, Jane Smith with the perfect life and the perfect, that is not real. I'm sorry, it's not.
Right.
And if that's what you're putting out there, more power to you, but that's not real, and everyone sees through it.
Right.
Business owners, they have issues. They have family problems. We got kids, we got pets, we got parents, we've got, laws changing, regulations. There's stuff going on the regular that as a business owner will drive you out of your mind. Right. There's nothing wrong with talking about it on social, connecting with someone else that's going through the same thing and getting some feedback. Why do you think we have peer advisory boards? Right. I've been doing a peer advisory board with Thrive for I think 7 years now. My advisory board is my family. They are my family. You go to these people with no judgment to say, this is what I have going on. This is where I'm struggling. I need help.
I think that also, like, obviously that article that you wrote was incredibly raw. And you're turning a situation that is, you're handed, right? Which we all are at some point, because our parents age. They age and they get sick. But, your decisions of taking care of your mom and it being a full-time job, all of that under the context of your guys' relationship, it's beautifully written. I'm sure that it was therapeutic at some point.
Absolutely.
Maybe even a little painful, but then beautiful at the end. Like, I can't imagine that journey, but that alone in itself, the fact that you were able to express it and to share it, never in a million years was a moment of it like I can get business from this.
No.
No.
Oh God.
But the reality of it is that just you expressing that part of your life, sharing it with someone, not only, yes, can you raise awareness for someone else to be prepared about what it looks like when their parents are aging, but also if you think that you're not gaining respect of professionals that are in that space, that are ready to have to take care of their parents, you're living in their head.
Yeah. I had doctors reach out to me and say, do you mind if I give these articles to patients of mine that have elderly parents? I had some financial planners reach out to me and say, Karen, I would really love to share this, with some of our clients that have elderly parents. And I even had feedback, some people telling me that they had been estranged from their parent for years and they just picked up the phone and said, I'm going to give it a go.
I mean, I just got chills.
That was the best for me. That was
I'm going to cry. That's a big deal. I'm literally going to cry. Well, that's a big deal because, I mean, I reposted the article because it was very personal for what my family went through with my grandparents and my mom and all that stuff. But people that don't get the Daily Drip, they just don't get it.
They don't get it.
It's not just and that's why the post I recently made about we're always just the cheer squad or that. And I just cannot wait for it to blow up in these people's faces.
It's going to be
because the impact,
so raw.
Yeah, the impact is so, and it's funny because the premise of it is for the South Florida businesswoman, but look at what's making the impact.
Yeah.
It's real stories of real businesswomen.
I could get somebody, $150,000 refund, but it's not going to have nearly the impact that I had when I wrote that. And when Nicole said to me at our last think tank, I had the highest number of clicks, highest number of shares in the smallest time frame, I was so humbled. And I realized I have this power to help people. And acts of service, that's my love language all the way. I am acts of service, giving and receiving. That's my purpose-driven goal, right? Purpose-driven is my word for 2025. Thank you, Maria Smith.
Oh, God, I wanted to go so bad.
It's so good. Oh my God, it was so good. I'm still on a high from it.
I love that.
And I'm not typically a person to delve into myself like that. And I knew, again, felt safe. I knew I could do it with these women, and now I came out. But, back to just seeing the stats on what that article did and then hearing the feedback, I said, man, I have a powerful voice and I need to use it to help people, not just save their taxes, not just.
It goes beyond what your profession does.
Yeah.
Yes.
My business is a platform to reach more people, period. So now when I'm on the phone with clients doing annual or monthly tax planning, I'm getting to know them. And I've always been this way, but now I feel empowered to say, hey, how's your estate planning and things going with your family? This is what I went through with my mom. Oh my gosh, Karen, really? Us too. Yep. It's personal. And then you just become a trusted professional.
Well, and I mean, even just, yes, we're all in business to do that. But really, the impact is so far beyond, whether someone's at the beginning of that journey and you're helping them navigate that, or they're at the end and they need someone to talk to, right? Because as painful as it is to start and go through it, you don't know what you're going to experience when it's ending, because then it's a whole other thing. I saw it. Yeah. It's disastrous.
It's also the guilt, there was so much guilt I felt and so much failure I felt, I talked about it. I went through that, in total solitude, my own fault. I didn't reach out to my friends. I didn't come to my friends until it was the very end and I was literally ready to implode. I don't want anyone to go through that. I just played golf with someone that is going through a similar situation, and the response and the feedback I got from her was so humbling. And she was asking me, all these questions about not just feelings and emotion, but how do I go through this? How do I navigate this? And what's the easiest way? And how do I make sure my kids aren't impacted? So by me putting that article out there, even if I can help one person, it helped so many people.
You already have, by far. Cool. I'm definitely going to link it in the show notes because if you've got aging parents, you should definitely read it because it's necessary. It's a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, I went from article about aging parents to hasn't been published yet, hasn't been released yet. But I wrote about my experience with my son wanting to go to the academies instead of the typical college
Mm-hmm.
route. And that is very raw. So that'll be exciting too. So I
I
talk
love
about
that.
like, parenting your parent and then parenting.
Well, it's funny because my dad had told me that a while back ago when, thankfully we were in the insurance space already where my mom was able to go and she had the flexibility and the freedom to go and take care of her parents for almost a year. They lived in
Wow.
Jupiter. She would go up on Mondays, come home on Friday.
Oh.
She'd be home Saturday and Sunday, and then the next week she would do it. But, it's one of the things of like, Ciara, this is what entrepreneurship gave us.
Mm-hmm.
If we were in corporate America,
Forget it. No way.
she would have never had this time
Right.
to help her parents. Our family could not have done it.
Yeah.
So we always wore that as a badge of pride. The fact that like it was a gift that we gave my mom. My mom was able to do that,
Yeah.
by way of business, right? Like the business facilitated that. And
Well, and all the business connections that I had. So obviously if viewers have read the article, then my mom had to go. I went through a Baker Act situation. If you haven't read the article, you better read it.
you absolutely.
But I had a very close client in licensed mental health that not only did they go through so much to help me with the technical aspects of handling that situation, but the emotional support I got from that professional. So again, being an entrepreneur, having all of these clients and having these resources and people that I could trust to go to, unbelievable experience. I can't imagine if I had to navigate that without
Right.
those people.
And the pressures of a full-time job that you have to clock in and clock out of, and you've used your PTO.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I see people go through that.
It's heartbreaking.
It's so heartbreaking to me. And I feel bad because I don't know what to offer them.
Right.
I don't know how to help them because it's harder running a business and being the one that's in charge of turning the lights on and paying the electric and managing your staff. It's harder to be the entrepreneur that has to keep that going and dealing with a personal issue like that. But from a time perspective and how to work through the dynamics of it can be so much harder for an employee in corporate America that has no empathy for what you're going through.
And they have a fear of losing their job.
Of course.
I couldn't imagine it. Well, I mean, thankfully we didn't have to go through that.
God.
It's tough. Totally sidetracked there because of Nicole. I did want to ask you
In a good way.
Yeah. So we were going to talk about that article. Trust me. Anyways, but I did want to ask you one specific question, especially I didn't know about that brand ambassador program. So I love that. But what do you think? Because you started young, you're bringing in young, right? So you're repeating the history that you had, which obviously worked out very well for you. What do you think, or what is the best piece of advice you can give someone that is young, that is entering that networking space, that wants to try to get into those rooms where the successful people are? Like, how do you break that ceiling of like being in the networking group of like the beginners and like make it to the people, to a couple levels ahead of you?
So learning how to talk, Toastmasters, all those things. I think just learning how to talk and communicate is really important because younger people talk differently than established, sophisticated in their industry professionals. They talk different. They speak different languages. There's different levels of experience. So learning how to talk to people at different stages of their life, I feel like that's really important. I was able to learn that through clients, how to talk to Jane, she's retired, versus Joe, he's in growth mode, versus Tommy, who just got his first real job out of college. You have to learn how to talk to people differently. I would also say the most important, and we talk about this at the Drip all the time, is be authentic. Everybody can spot a phony the minute they enter the room. If you're not being authentic and you're not selling yourself and you're selling a product, nobody wants to talk to you. And my dad, he always told me, you have 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen twice as much as you talk. And that is what I learned really, really early on, is to surround myself by really smart, really educated people, listen to what they do and how they do it, and then whatever I valued about that, replicate it.
That's so, you do by the way. You do speak very like
Direct?
no. Well, yeah, no, it's direct, which I love, but it's very intentional
Thank you.
and like very eloquent.
Thank you.
So it's refreshing. Yeah, I mean,
That's another Michael Ross plug.
I just want you to talk
Don't tell
to me. I just want you to talk to me. Like I could listen to you forever.
I mean, I don't think we're in the culture anymore of just doing business. We're not. No, nobody does business with someone that they don't know, like, and trust.
Yep.
I don't want to do business with those people unless I have to. And chances are it ain't going to turn out really well.
Right. It's not going to be long lasting. It's not a relationship.
Yeah. So if I'm going to say something, I'm not saying something to hear myself talk. I'm saying something because I have something to say.
There you go.
I'm saying something because I have something to say.
I love that. Question. New business owner, looking for a good accountant, a good CPA. What is the best, like, top 3 things they should look for? Do they interview them? What are the questions they should ask?
They should absolutely interview them. I mean, obviously, Palermo, Landsman, and Ross, is the one.
Yeah.
But we're not always the one.
Right.
And I say to people, talk to the profession. First of all, you need to go to a licensed person. Don't go to Liberty Tax that's in a Statue of Liberty costume on the side of the road if you're a business owner. That may be fine if you have, an Outback Steakhouse W-2. It's not fine when you have a business and structure and payroll and tax laws that you have to follow and compliance perspectives and pass through and all this other. You need to talk to someone that is licensed. Usually it's a CPA. Hopefully they have a master's in taxation because that's specific to tax, or it's an enrolled agent, or both. We have both at our firm. Secondly, what's their level of experience? What do they have experience in? If I'm a enrolled agent that has never dealt with a business owner, just because I'm an enrolled agent doesn't mean I'm going to be able to service them. Our firm, we have dealt with, Artie's been in business for 39 years. So our firm has handled every transaction you could think of. And even though we're a mid-sized firm, we've got 4,000 clients. We've dealt with all different types of business owners, situations. So you want to talk to someone about their level of experience. Do they have experience with insurance agencies? Do they have experience, which is a very unique accounting, it's very unique in the accounting industry. Do they have experience dealing with construction? Oh my gosh, construction accounting and accounting are totally different.
Right.
So talking to them about their experience. And I think what's most important to me is, do they give you that warm, fuzzy, personal touch? Are they going to be are you going to end up a number to them that you see once a year? Or are they going to invest their time in you? And are they going to give you the value add? Top 3 for sure.
That's great. That's super good. And yes, I agree on the, I don't know. In the medical field, it matters, right? You want the specialist, not the generalist. I don't know that that's true in every industry, but in yours, that specific question about the experience in the industry that person's in, it matters.
It matters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's and all accounting, all bookkeeping, they're numbers, but they're not the same.
Yeah.
They're definitely not the same. What about scaling? What does it look like, right, when the decision, because you said you're in growth mode this year, right? Talk to us about that decision of, okay, enough with where we're at. We're going to pedal to the metal it, right? What does that look like actionably? Like if someone's ready on that verge of scaling, how? I guess I know that's a kind of a tough question, but just like, what does that feel like? What does the process look like? What is it? Is it task oriented? Obviously there's finances that are involved. You got to put money towards maybe more marketing towards this. Like, how do you come up with that plan, or where should someone start?
That's a great question. So I feel like in every business, growth and scaling should start, doesn't always, it should start with the why. Why am I scaling? What is my decision to scale? What is my decision to grow? Why do I want to go from making sandwiches to having paninis? What I'm going from paninis to, like an authentic pita.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I have to give the sandwich example because of Matt and his his
Yes.
wisdom of
Yeah.
of being the sandwich maker. So it's the why. Why do I want to grow? And then it's, what do I want to grow to? Because a lot of business owners, they just say, oh, I'm going to do all these things to grow, but they don't have direction because they don't know where they want to go. Are you growing your staff? Are you growing your client? Are you growing your brand? Are you growing your social growth? Is not a one size fits all. Are you growing in all of those areas?
It's almost siloed too, right? Like each one is individual.
And you have to have a focus. So when we speak with, and this is very frequent, I'm constantly talking to business owners about growth and scale. I say, why do you want to grow in this area? Well, because I want to sell my business, or I want to create a legacy, or I want to delve into a new market, or I want to make more money. I want to invest. Whatever the reason is, then we're able to look at, okay, what professionals do I need to get in touch with so that they have a guided growth? They have a business plan and goals and someone that they could be accountable to, because accountants don't do all of that. We do the financial side. So if someone says to me, Karen, I have a great construction practice and, I'm doing single family homes, but I just did a commercial property and now I'm ready to go to the next level and I want to do an apartment complex. They're going to need bonding, right? So who am I going to introduce them to? Mm-hmm. Sierra. That's how that happens. So then they're going to need line of credit. They're going to need bigger banking relationships. So it's always, why do you want to grow to that level? What's the intention? And then guiding them as to who they need to talk to so that they're making informed decisions. You don't want to spend your entire life climbing the ladder on the wrong wall, right?
Right.
That could be a tremendous waste of time. So even in our firm, it was like, we never just grow. I feel like we're always bringing in new clients, and that's a struggle for us because we have to work so hard because we're just constantly growing our client base organically. We're not even like trying to do it. It's just happening. And so we've even struggled with scaling and having to say, okay, guys, let's put the brakes on. Let's invest our time in this one thing so that when we grow our client base, it's seamless. I hope that answers the question.
It absolutely does. And that's such good advice because, it sounds like a good problem to have, growing too fast or, but if you grow too fast of the wrong clients, it's not great.
It's not. And then you spend so much time on the wrong client.
Right.
You lose the right clients.
Right. You're so busy servicing those people that you kind of shouldn't have taken in the first place, that you miss opportunities for the ideal client. I love what you said too. I think it's our professions too that just focus on the strength of the partnerships, because it really is so important to surround yourself with the professionals that can help guide you with those decisions, right? The sandwich shop, I know Matt talks about that, and it is the best example.
It is so good.
And I always use the pizza guy, right? Like, he got into business to sell pizza and to make pizza because he loves making pizza, not because he knows how to run a business, or much less a restaurant, which is probably one of the hardest.
Oh my gosh, the worst.
Right? So it's like, if you don't know what you don't know, make sure that you've aligned yourself with the people that do or can point you in the direction of who can help you.
Yeah, my referral partners are my lifeline in everything. And what's really cool too? I love learning from my referral partners because then I become the smartest person in the room. If I know about bonding and I know about surety and I know about different financial planning products and I learn about estate planning and I learn a little bit about all of these things, then my clients feel like, oh, Karen knows, and she knows the right people.
At the very least, you can ask the right question.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't know, you're informed enough to ask the right question. That's what I always ask when I meet someone like a potential referral partner. I'm always just like, teach me the question that for me to ask.
Yeah.
So that way I know enough.
Such a great point.
Right? I know enough to make the introduction, not to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Right? Because I can't solve the problem if you need to get a line of credit. Yeah. Right? But I know the person that can help you. I really do love that advice. And I think it's great advice. And it also ties back to the importance of the networking.
Yeah.
You're not going to build your referral partner base.
Intentional networking, I would say. Romy talks about this all of the time. And time is a scarce resource. I mean, I know we all said, like, during the pandemic, oh, when things get back to normal, I'm not going to be busy like I was before.
Busier. Yep.
And I'm doing it intentionally. And I don't belong to all these different networking groups. I'm in 6 Degrees Golf. Golf is a huge part of my life, personally, professionally. It fills all of my buckets. And I really love Rich Rogers.
Yeah, well, he's great. I'm trying to get him on this podcast.
Oh, girl, I'll get him on.
Please.
Challenge accepted.
I mean, please.
Challenge accepted.
He's been in my invited column forever.
No. I'll get him there.
Good.
The God. I texted him this morning. I said, "Hello, Godfather. What are the most wanted professions for 6 Degrees right now? I'm feeling some energy. I'm like I don't have enough going on, but I do 6 Degrees Golf. I'm in both Friday groups because I love 6 Degrees Golf. I love the people, the golf. Rich is amazing.
He is.
A tremendous mentor. The Daily Drip. I left 3 networking organizations to put all my eggs into the Daily Drip. Unregrettably. It is my lifeline.
Same.
Taught me amazing things. I am so humbled, but I needed to leave other things to do that. And also, unintentionally and very organically, being a board member for Children's Harbor has launched me into areas of my career and like branding that I never thought possible. And it's because I just love philanthropy and because I'm doing it from my heart. It really just gives me all of the network. Those 3 things, that's the only network I need. Yep. That's it.
It's funny. I'm doing this presentation this year in my industry. It's called Visibility Equals Opportunity. And how incredible it must feel for you to be in a position like you've done that. You've done the work, right? Like that's incredible to be able to then wake up and continue to do the work, build your team, make an impact in-house, right? In your 4 walls, literally in your home with your children, in your business with those children, right? Like, and then like in your community and to be able to build a business, but doing it in a way that fills you instead of draining you.
Why are we here?
I know, but it takes a long time to get there.
It does take a long time to get there, and it took a lot of growing pains, and it took a lot of grace.
It takes a lot of bad networking events.
Oh, for the love of lambs. I mean, there have been so many networking opportunities that I'm like, when am I leaving? Yeah. Where is the door? I don't want to talk about this. Do you know I don't even bring business cards
Neither do I.
anymore? I don't even bring them.
You want to know what I do?
I do.
Can
I adopt this?
Absolutely.
Love it.
I'm always like, oh, I just switched purses. I left my business cards in my other one. I said, but here, follow me on LinkedIn, because the thought leadership aspect of what I'm doing.
You are
with the Daily Drip.
A year ago.
Nicole, grow your audience.
Oh, there you go.
Grow your audience, Ciara. Send everybody to LinkedIn.
I love that.
Genius.
Yeah, I don't bring business cards because I feel sleazy. I feel like, here's my card.
I'm going to be honest. I'm nowhere near in my career as far as accomplished as you are. And I probably should go to some more networking events because I'm 5 years in business, right? Like I'm like in immense growth mode, but I am tired.
Yeah. It's exhausting.
And it's exhausting and it's unfulfilling. And I said to myself, I'm going to belong to one that is a referral networking group, which is working out great. And then I joined the Daily Drip, and it's for Ciara, the person. The Daily Drip is for me, the person.
Yeah.
By obviously, naturally, it's growing my business. I don't care if I ever got a piece of business from the Daily Drip or not. It's not my intention.
But don't you feel like that's how it happens?
Of course.
You do things without the intention of growing your business, and that's what brings you the most business. Well, why? Because you're being authentic in that space.
Yep.
I only go to networking functions to support other people. That's why I go. That's the only reason. I'm never going to an event to bring in business. But guaranteed, when I go to a networking event and I'm there to support the Daily Drip, Children's Harbor, any of my peers, I'm bringing in business. I'm creating credibility, visibility. People want to see that you're there for your community. You're not just there for yourself.
You're not there for yourself. It's so even if you're in the position of going to the networking that's dreadful and it's painful because you're starting, go with that. If there's anything that you take from this, it's go with the mentality of other people first. I mean, it is the BNI philosophy, right? Of the giver's gain.
Yeah.
Go there, learn what people need from you to support their businesses, right? And it takes a while, but then it is a snowball effect.
Oh yeah. I feel like the growth for me is exponential because I see how growing a little bit and learning a little bit impacted me so much that it became more impactful as time went on. I picked up like more steam, more stamina, more energy.
Oh, bees.
I love it.
We almost made it the whole episode.
She did so good.
She did.
And she kept me warm. She's so cute. And my little co-star. But yeah, I think like being really intentional about why you are there and making it about everything other than business just results in business every time.
I love that. I mean, if the theme of this episode, right, is
for sure
is really just your position of selflessness.
Yeah, selflessness. Yeah, that's what has fueled me
Beasley.
to
Beasley.
Selflessness has been the fuel for me. When if you think back to like what we were just talking about at the beginning of the episode, where I mentioned how I was kind of like the paralegal, if you will, to Artie, and I didn't have the designation. I was doing everything to help him prepare, but then ultimately he had to do the work because I didn't have the designation. So what did I do? I went out and got the designation so I could do the work myself. And then fast forward, growth. So now everything I do is very purpose-driven for others, and it comes back naturally to me. It helps me.
Also, though, like, kudos to you, because that's not learned. That's in you. That desire.
I hope so.
Well, yeah. I mean,
so.
How many people would just live their life just being the paralegal?
More,
There's nothing wrong with it.
More, I hope.
There's nothing wrong with that, right? But like just the concept of like, hey, I can do that and I want to do that, you know, and investing in yourself at such an early age and realizing the potential of that investment and what it can do for you.
Yeah. Impact feels good. I'm making a difference for someone else. So, you know,
but also for yourself.
It always ends up resulting in being for me.
Correct.
And it's to help me, guide me, grow me, break me down, whatever I need to do. It's happening for me. But the journey is helping so many other people.
One last question, maybe two. This conversation is so good.
It's so fun.
Helping 4,000 business owners. What would you say is a reoccurring theme of the top performers versus
that is a loaded question
versus the struggling business owners?
I would say our top entrepreneurs are the ones that they're authentic. They hire good people and create really good culture in their space. And they lean on their professionals. They have a team of professionals. That team should consist of, for every business owner, CPA, business attorney, estate planning attorney, banker, insurance agent. If you don't have those people, and usually retirement planner, if you don't have that team and you're not listening to the team and you're not learning from them, you're going to just be stuck. You're going to be in quicksand. You have to be open to, you know, learning from them and taking their advice. They're the trusted professionals, and that guides you into being more successful. And really, just to go back to that culture, what kind of culture are you creating for your clients, for your vendors, for your staff? If you're unapproachable, not going to go very far. I mean, I've been there. I've been there where I've been super unapproachable. My expectations of my staff were extraordinarily difficult, and they were not rising to my expectation. Well, guess what? I wasn't mentoring them either. That was on me as a business owner. So saying, okay, Karen, put the brakes on, check your yardstick, boots on the ground, get with your staff, learn from them, mentor them, and then see where they're measuring up.
Right. Give them the tools.
Yeah.
And then
and being approachable, because if you're not, then you're going to fail miserably.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That is super powerful. And, it's so funny too, because some of these things are just, when I had Maria on the, Maldonado Smith on the podcast, I said to her, listen, I mean, zero offense with what I'm going to tell you. But if one thing I've learned on this journey is that all the woo-woo stuff, it's real.
It's real.
Even so, that concept, right, of like hiring people around you that are smarter than you, be the dumbest person in the room, lean into your relationship, all of that stuff, like that's not woo-woo stuff, but it could be cliche.
Yeah.
Right.
But
it's
true.
real.
It's true.
It like,
and when you're young, you fight so hard to be the smartest person in the room, and you look ridiculous, and you look cocky, and you look unapproachable. But if you're humble and you elevate others, everything I'm doing with the Daily Drip is with the intention of elevating others. And look where it's positioned me. I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to say like, oh, now I'm positioned in a different place compared to, incoming thought leaders that, maybe haven't like invested so much of themselves yet. They're new to thought leadership. I'm never going to change elevating others, because that's what differentiates me from other people. Do you know what I mean by that?
Absolutely. And I think that, like, obviously it's to your point of the authenticity piece, right? Like, you can't just say those things and then not do them.
Girl.
Right. So it's just like, and again, credit to you, which I think we're similar in this aspect too, which big credit to my dad for doing this, because he told me, Ciara, if you're going to make this your career, get educated.
Yeah.
You went out and got the designation. I have done that because.
And we continue.
I continue.
I mean,
I've actually taken some off of my name because I'm just like, well, now I just feel ridiculous.
Yeah,
like at this point, at this point, people are going to think all I do is go to school.
Yeah.
Right. But I still do learn. I do it for the education, not the letters after my name.
Yeah.
But it's when you're young, you got to do these things.
Yeah.
Because
agreed.
Especially in our industries, people want their advisors generally, and I think this is shifting, well, because our age is also now coming into money and ownership and investment, like all of that stuff. But like, people typically want their financial planner or advisor to be older, right? Like, you assume experience.
Yeah, you assume experience.
Same thing with my CPA, right? Like, in my mind, I think.
Are they complacent?
Right.
Because they're older.
And the technology piece, of course.
They're seeing, like, I can tell you, if I talk to 10 new prospects a week, 8 of them are saying to me either my CPA died,
yes,
they retired, or I don't think they're up to date on all the new tax laws and all the new deductions and tax savings opportunities. They've become complacent, right? The younger people get this reputation for, well, they don't know very much, they're not experienced. But who's their mentor?
Right.
Look at Artie.
Right.
When I'm meeting with like I'm going to say a more seasoned prospect, I'm going to bring Artie in, because I want that prospect to see I am new, I'm hungry, I'm energetic. And then I have the elder statesman, the seasoned entrepreneur, the seasoned CPA standing right beside me. It's a team effort.
I love that. I'm going to come right back to that, because that's important. But also, like, I'm a big fan of, like, if you know that those are the challenges in your industry and you're young and you're new, do the work to make yourself stand out with your knowledge.
Absolutely.
You have to do the work. It's not gonna just come to you. You already, like, if I can walk in somewhere and I know that they're expecting an older man to be their commercial insurance agent, sure. But you know what? I've done this. I've done these years of designations, and I have to do this much continuing education, which they don't. They haven't gone to a CE class in 25 years.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're just sitting there and clicking the buttons.
Right.
CEs
right.
are
so
such a joke to begin with.
I mean, it is. But it goes hand in hand, right? And I think, and I do believe in what you're saying as far as that, the hunger, the adoption to the technology, the new ways, all of that is very true. And I think that too, I also respect the fact that, you're a woman in your space, you're a partner of that firm, you have the experience, you have the education, but also you're not ashamed to bring Artie.
Oh,
Like, it's not like
absolutely
a
not.
negative, like, oh, like I'm going to be viewed as a little girl that doesn't know anything. So I have to bring like art. No,
Yeah,
it's a
no,
team. I
it's-
love
we're
that
a team.
approach.
That's how we run our
I
firm.
love
It's a
that.
team approach. Like,
I love that.
if I'm great at 50 things, first of all, you can't be great at 50 things. You're great. Just like back to the sandwich shop.
Mhm.
You make the best sandwich on the planet. I am the best in a certain space when it comes to tax and consulting. I am the best when it comes to international, at our firm. I am the best when it comes to IRS dispute resolution, and I've mentored my team to make them the best also. I'll tell you, audits, reviews, compilations, don't come to me. Go to Brett, go to Artie. That's not for me.
Mm.
I don't take restaurants as clients. My partners do. I do not. I don't want a single restaurant client. I don't want a single physician. Now, I have a couple that have been referred to me that are amazing, but it's because who's referring them to me. Like, they're very unique. But typically, I don't have clients that are physicians. Brett, phenomenal with physicians. We all have an area that we're gifted in. And then I would also say, like, for younger people, I think it's really important for them to identify their giftedness so that they know what their ideal client is. Because if you don't know what your ideal client is, you're throwing spaghetti against the wall. It ain't sticking. It's not
You're wasting
sticking.
your time.
You're wasting
you
your
get
time.
frustrated. You lose confidence in yourself.
Mhm.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, the confidence.
Oh God.
Good Lord.
There's so much I have to talk to you about still. Like, we didn't really get into like Children's Harbor. Talk to me, because I know it's a big passion of yours.
Such a passion.
It's so important. Talk to me about, being a board member, what that means for you, what Children's Harbor does for the community.
Children's Harbor stole my heart. And I think a lot of that has to do with Tiffany being our president and CEO, and her passion for social work, her experience for social work. I also think that the board members really make my experience there what it is, because similar to like the Daily Drip, we've got this group of people that we could be vulnerable with, we value, we have the same mission, the same goal. And those things are phenomenal. But when you look at the mission of the agency and what it's doing, I don't know if this is known in the community, but the very first resident of Children's Harbor, for those of you that don't know what Children's Harbor is, I should probably start with that. It's a group home out in Southwest Ranches, Pembroke Pines area that is for fostered teens. And these teens have been victims of the most horrific trauma, abuse, neglect that you can imagine. And they have a boys' house, a girls' house, and they have a maternity house. And they don't separate siblings. So if you're going to the foster system and you have a sibling, you're getting split up. No one's taking both of you.
Yeah.
And Children's Harbor doesn't split up their teens, their siblings. But back to the very first resident, it was a 7-year-old girl who was being trafficked by her parents for drugs. And when you look at the fact that that's going on in your own community, all these large organizations are phenomenal. I'm not taking away from that. But I've always focused on my community first. What's happening next door? Mm-hmm. And when I got involved in Children's Harbor before I learned that story, but when I learned that story, I realized this is exactly where I need to be. It's the next generation. You can't write these kids off. Mm-hmm. This is our future. Mm-hmm. And they come into an environment and they're a product of something they had no control over. Right. The trauma, the abuse, the lack of dignity that they have. And this home and the staff there, the directors there, they're giving them a chance to really be amazing adults. And they're giving them the opportunity to contribute back to their community. And even if one kid comes out better on the other side, it's worth the time. I'm super passionate about Children's Harbor. My son's doing his Eagle Scout project there. So clearly philanthropy as a parent is going through my family. My husband is tremendously philanthropic, whether it's Rotary or just Boy Scouts or just helping a neighbor, it's very, very important to our family, and now it's important to our kids. So seeing my son helping his peers, looking at teens that are less fortunate than he is, and he's like, I'm going to do something for him. I'm going to make a difference for him.
Yeah. Go ahead. Please talk. I'm texting Sophia to open the door. Please. So
these would be fun if they were live. Yeah. It would take a whole other direction. But Children's Harbor has a variety of different opportunities to volunteer, which is really cool. You could volunteer, you can donate, you can go to, they have the best in Broward, all the best galas and golf and all of those things that you could get involved in.
I went to one of the, it was the
boat parade, the watch party.
No, it was the generations party.
Prom
through all the generations.
Yeah.
We did that. I went to that. I only knew Chafin.
Really?
I didn't know Tiffany at that time. So I only knew Chafin, and he was one of my early episodes. Probably first 20 he was on.
That's
and
so cool.
Yeah, and I didn't know Tiffany, and I went to that event and we had a great time. It was and that's when I don't remember the gentleman that won, but he won the car. They gave him the car for college. Yeah, it was so cool.
I was there, but I forget.
It was so cool to see that. It was amazing. What would you say if someone is looking to join a board? What should they find out about the association? Like, what can you talk about, like being a board member? What does it take?
Sure. Being a board member, it obviously is driven by passion. So I chose an organization that I was passionate about the mission. And I chose an organization that had board members and the employees for the agency that had the same passion and vision and mission as me. Because at the end of the day, you're all really working together. And I have seen a lot of boards, the people that fill the seats, they're just there for themselves. It's self-serving. And it's a lot of people talking and not a lot of doing. And I was really attracted to Children's Harbor Board because there's people doing. Mm-hmm. They're getting up and they're making an impact at the board level. So I would say to definitely find a board that follows whatever your vision is for philanthropy. Obviously, getting involved with a charitable organization that you admire, something that you like, mm-hmm. whether it's Feeding South Florida,
right,
or it's a religious organization or whatever just drives you in philanthropy is what you should do. And then I think the legacy part was important for me. I see Children's Harbor having a legacy. I want to be like Marty Alexander, who has been a part of the agency as a board member since the beginning. I want to serve on a board through the ages. I want to see the transformation. I want to see the evolution. And I'm a committed and loyal person just by nature. So to me, that was really important. Going from board to board to board to board. It's just like going from chamber meeting to chamber meeting to chamber meeting.
Not for us. No.
But the board is in development mode over at Children's Harbor. So I'm happy to speak to anyone that wants to get active and engaged.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Karen, thank you so much.
This was so fun.
This was so fun. I still have so many questions for you. So we're going to have to do 100.
We'll have to do more.
You're going to be back for 100.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your impact. Thank you for being an example.
Thank you very much.
For
I appreciate
all
it.
of us.
I appreciate it.
In business, motherhood, philanthropy, your community. I mean, I hope that as a daughter, I hope that when you put your head down at night, you're super proud of yourself.
Thank you.
Because you should be.
I appreciate it. Yeah, 2025, I've always been a leader and into community, but 2025 we talked about this in our podcast with the Daily Drip. Mm-hmm. 2025, I really wanted it to be about thought leadership and being a community leader and exposing that side.
I was going to say, I feel like, I had always heard about you, but I never knew you. And I think that watching it and getting to know you this year, it seems, and from the reaction that I see that people are having to you, it's like you have like stepped into that position that everyone knew you had, but like you're owning it.
Yeah.
And you're amplifying it.
Thank you.
You know, the light is shining and it's deserved.
And kudos to you for doing this and having business owners out here. Like everybody wants to talk about themselves, right? And I mean, I love talking about myself, but I love being relevant, and the fact that you have this platform and you make it so easy, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
You're so fun to engage with. And thank you for bringing the puppy for me.
Yeah. Oh, listen, if the door wouldn't have opened, she would have still been there on you.
I wanted the puppy here. That was the only, if the puppy wasn't here, I was leaving.
I told my husband this morning, I was like, Bees is coming in today by special request, because the confirmation text message I got, the first question was, is the puppy coming? So I wasn't going to let you down.
Thank you so much. And I'm so excited that you had my husband on for your first.
Good times with Mike. Tell everybody where they can find you. We're going to put it in the show notes anyways, but.
Awesome. So www.plrcpas.com. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. You're going to put all my handles in there?
Yeah, I'm going to put all the handles, and follow her on LinkedIn. She's a great follow, a great person to know, great person to have in your partner.
Likewise.
Yeah, in the partner circle that we were talking about.
Likewise.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.